We're here today at San Juan Hills High School, part of the Capistrano Unified School District, the same district where my kids go to school. I want to thank the administration and the staff of San Juan Hills for hosting us today. Give it up for them, everybody. And I also want to thank all my team who did such a great job putting this event together. If you're part of my team, can you please raise your hand? Thank you all very, very much. Great job. You know, because we're here at San Juan High School, let me emphasize that I believe every child, no matter their background, deserves access to a great education. And please know that I will always fight to protect and strengthen our great public schools like this one. I also want to take a moment to thank our law enforcement from the Orange County Sheriff's Department that are here. I want to thank you for your commitment to keeping our communities safe. Thank you very much. And I want to thank our three constituents that you're going to be hearing from in just a moment for spending some of their Sunday with us. When I first ran for office in 2018, I made a commitment to hold a town hall at least once a month, and we've exceeded that. This is now our 121st town hall. And I hold these town halls in different formats so I can hear it from as many people as possible. I believe that representative isn't only my job title, it is my job description, and what you share with me shapes the work that I do in Washington, and it's a responsibility I take very seriously. I know that many of you here are concerned, you're frustrated, you're anxious about the direction of our country. I hear your concerns loud and clear about the chaos, about the dysfunction in Washington, D.C., the cuts to vital programs, and the need for strong leadership that puts people over politics. Thank you. I share your concerns, and I'm here to listen, take your questions, and discuss a path forward. Above all, I am focused on delivering results for this district, period. I'm proud of my record, having passed 16 bills into law under President Trump and 18 bills into law under President Biden. I'm a proud member of the House Appropriations Committee, and I've secured over $1 billion in federal funds for our district over the past 6 years, tackling issues like sand replenishment to protect our coastline, housing for our veterans, and upgrading equipment for our law enforcement. I'm honored that the Center for Effective Lawmaking at the University of Virginia ranks me among the top 5% of the most effective members of Congress, and that the Lugar Center at Georgetown University ranks me in the top 4th of the most bipartisan members of Congress. Thank you. But I got to tell you, right now, it's tough. It's tough to get stuff done. It's tough to be bipartisan. This second Trump administration is very different from the first. House and Senate Republicans have handed huge amounts of their power that they have under Article 1 of the Constitution over to the president. And the president, in turn, has handed huge amounts of power over to Elon Musk, who runs something called DOGE, which I think stands for Destruction of Government by Elon. We are seeing in real time the dismantling of parts of the federal government from the inside. Tens of thousands of federal workers fired over the last 2 months, including at least 6,000 veterans from the federal workforce. Congress's constitutional power of the purse being ignored. Efforts to disrupt Social Security and cut funding for Medicaid. Dismantling the Department of Education altogether. And threats to birthright citizenship and to legal immigration. To me, this isn't about Republicans versus Democrats. and it's not about efficiency, because most of us in Congress want to work in a bipartisan, constitutional, legal way to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse, and find ways to get our deficit and debt under control. But what this is really about, to me, is whether we have a functioning government that works for the American people. And it's also about America's role in the world. On that front, I am deeply concerned that the United States is pulling back from long-standing relationships with our allies. We cannot let autocrats and dictators call the shots. We cannot abandon NATO. And we cannot turn our back on Ukraine. My grandfather and the greatest generation did not fight against fascism in World War II just for America to retreat from democracy now. And we need to ask ourselves, why are we treating some of our closest allies like Canada and Mexico worse than our adversaries? The president seems to think that tariffs will solve all of our problems. I strongly disagree. Tariffs won't bring in the revenues that the president is promising. And the revenue that they do bring in will come at the expense of Americans who pay higher prices as a result of those tariffs. And so I would just offer this. Instead of waging economic war against our allies, how about working together to lower costs and build a more secure supply chain that reduces dependence on our adversaries? At a time when China and Russia are looking to expand their influence, we need to be reinforcing our partnerships, not weakening them. Now, it's been a busy week in Washington. I want to talk about the partisan six-month spending bill that just passed the Congress. As you might have heard, Republicans forced through a bill that guts essential services, well, in a completely unprecedented move in the modern history of our country, gives free rein to an unelected billionaire donor, Elon Musk, whose objective is to dismantle government programs he doesn't like, including agencies that regulate his private companies. That is an epic conflict of interest. And let's be clear about another reason they're doing this. These same billionaire donors like Musk want more tax cuts, and they couldn't care less who gets hurt in the process. I'm incredibly proud that House Democrats stood united against this bill. We offered a better alternative, a short-term funding solution to keep the government open while negotiating in a bipartisan way through the normal appropriations process that I am a part of. But Republicans wouldn't even sit down for any sort of serious negotiation. Instead, they forced through a partisan bill that threatens to cut veterans' health care, provides no money for wildfire relief that we need here in California, ignores community project funding, and hurts families and small businesses. And I have to say this, I am profoundly disappointed that Senate Democratic leadership caved instead of holding the line. But I do want to thank our two United States Senators from California, Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, for voting no. With that, I want to turn to how the cuts across the federal government are hurting real people, our constituents, including the three you're about to hear from. First, let's talk about Social Security, which Elon Musk believes is a Ponzi scheme. Well, I have news for you, Elon. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's a contract that Americans pay into and rely on. And I say, Elon, keep your hands the hell off Social Security.